Meaning retraining. So if you have the power to create meaning, you can do this relatively simple, okay? First, you have to identify the meaning you give your top stimuluses. This again will take some honesty, some hard work, okay? Because you're gonna have to be honest about what you have given the meaning to. Now, the meaning you erroneously gave to that image or act, when you can hit it, you can dismantle it. You have to describe the truth, okay? And it may be as simple as it just doesn't mean that. Now, let me give you a brutal example. This is a brutal example. A man went to Asian massage parlors in California on a regular basis for years. He gave these girls meaning. The meaning was that they wanted to have sex. They wanted to have lots of sex. That's why they worked there. Now, as he got caught, had full disclosure, did a polygraph, did an intensive, his wife, prior to coming, re-educated him. Now, this has happened to more than one person, so this isn't a specific person. But she re-educated him that they were actually part of a sex slave traffic organization, that they didn't really want to be there. They were beaten if they didn't perform. They were threatened, or their families were threatened. They had to have sex with him because they were slaves of someone. And he had to start calling these women slaves when he was describing out his sexual behavior. The words sex slave, like I use sex slaves to act out, had a totally different meaning to him than massage girls. He changed his meaning to such a degree that it became not arousing at all. Now, much of the porn industry is also sex slaves, and they are not wanting to be there, okay? Or they're very damaged, hurting people who are on drugs, all kinds of bad things. But what began to happen is he switched the meaning. These weren't girls having a good time and having fun. These were young girls whose families were being threatened, or they were being threatened, or they were bought for some reason. And that changed the way that he began to see this whole thing. And it did not bring any arousal for him to think this woman had to be there or she was beaten. Okay? Now, so that's one way of changing the meaning. I told you it's brutal, but it helps you to kind of go, whoa, there is a polar opposite meaning to what I made up erroneously. Now, thirdly, you have to practice your new meaning, especially if you could see the stimulus on somewhat of a regular basis. So when you see it, you change the meaning. One man, every time he was exposed to a woman's upper body, in his mind, he would say, breasts have no meaning. This helped him to ascribe no meaning if a woman bent over or exposed herself or a bathing suit or something like that. This helped him move from being triggered and creating that to be a sexual stimulus to giving it kind of a blank, that doesn't mean anything, okay? And this template meaning battle is very individualistic. These come oftentimes from our deficits in childhood or things that we were struggling with. The sexual encounters or imaginations you created, you can give meaning to those that you participated in sexually. And you want to take this very important kind of battle in your sexual rebuilding, because this is the internal part. This is the heart. This is where we gave it meaning. And you can win this area. You can overcome this. It's not a permanent thing. Now, again, I want to share with you, be accountable to your partners in that. But for partners, these have nothing to do with you. The things that they gave meanings to, they did very early on in their life. And I want you to not take that personal. It makes no sense to you because it doesn't make sense. Okay? The meanings they created on these stimuluses, they're not real. Now, you can feel them, and sometimes you might even be aware of that, but they're not about you. They're not about your body. They're not about you not being enough. It's about them being immature, having object sex, being disconnected, being addicted, and being sexually driving their template in the wrong direction. You are a solution. You are a person of value. You are not those things. And if it's a man, he can create a sexual template just with you, just for you. And over time, the other is so diminished and you are so primary that he really is activated by looking into your eyes. And when he tells you that you're more than enough and you're satisfying, you can sense that he means it and it's deep and it's knowing. So you might be in the middle of this journey, but I want you to know that this has nothing to do with you. And as he creates new meanings, he'll be able to battle that bad side pretty quickly and connect to you.